Sir Hanky, the Christmas poo, small and brown, he comes from you. Sit on the toilet, here he comes, squeezing between your festive buns.
Just kidding, folks. Flight model needs a bit of work, though. Let's get to it. Greetings, everyone. Sorry about the Mr. Hanky thing. Lightning Dragon dared me to do it, and well, I take requests. Anyway, as you can see here, this is the 2.5F patch, the PTU. So just got my invite last night. It looks like the graphics have changed a little bit here in this hangar too. Like things look a little bit more metallic, but the colors look richer. I don't know exactly what they've done, but everything seems to be deeper. The darks are darker. And it just, I don't know, it's something about it. I don't exactly have to put my finger on it, but it definitely looks different. And apparently, for some reason, I had Argos. Now, they must have just given these out to everybody because there's no logical reason that I would have any of these at all because I don't have an Idris. It's too big of a ship for my tastes. Heck, the Starfarers and the Reclaimers kind of pushing it for me. But the texturing here, this looks really nice. Really can't complain about the work they've done. I really like to see them take some of their older ships they have, like the Hornet, of course, and see what they do with some of the new textures and whatnot. Because these new ships, when they come out, they're just stellar. I love the way the cockpit door opens here. That's just so well done. Kind of makes me think a little bit of like a, oddly enough, on a ship like this, you know, a Lamborghini, which is definitely not the Lamborghini of ships. But anyway, the paneling here, oh man, it's just, I really hope that these panels that we see become more than just textures. I would really like to see those panels and switches usable, flippable at some point in the future. Now the reason I actually have one of these is because after the last Blastcast we're talking about ships that we, if you can only have one ship, and Lightning Dragon had brought up the Avenger, so I decided to go ahead and use one of these. I had purchased two of these a long time ago, kind of as LTI tokens, so I repurchased it and went to try to convert it to an Avenger, but lo and behold, it's a $5 cheaper ship at the base model, and the other two models aren't available currently. Now, it's possible they'll come back up on sale at Gamescom, and if not, well, CitizenCon, you know, they always have ship sales, so I'll do the conversion then. But in the meantime, I gotta take a look at the ship and play around with it, which is nice. These end caps here on the wings, those can come off. You can replace those with size 3 weapons, which is great. I really recommend it because all you've got on your default is your size 1 on the wings, and I just gonna strip them off my Car 2 all here and just move them over because it seemed to me that that was like, since it's the same kind of gun that the size 1s are, I probably wouldn't have too many problems getting the pips to line up. Now, the interesting thing about this ship is when you sit in the cockpit, the panels fold down from the top, but you can't see all of them by default. You have to go into free look mode. So, of course, I hope that they start supporting Track IR and, of course, Oculus soon, because a ship like this, you really need to be able to turn your head to see all the panels and everything that's there for you. Right now, you just can't. As expected, I got lost on the way to Grim Hex, so let's go ahead and fast forward this footage a bit and celebrate being lost in space the best way possible. I really like the texture details here on this station as you get really close to it, especially around the backside. But these cables are actually quite massive. They really don't look like it from this distance, but I definitely think if you ran your ship into any of these, it'd just wipe you out. But as you get closer and closer to this, and here's the thing going on right now, the frame rate is probably hanging around 20 frames a second at best. And I don't think that it's this detail that's doing it. I still think that the major problem that CIG is having is with that network code. And I know that Lightning Dragon and I have harped on this a lot, but that network code, the revision on that can't come soon enough, because, you know, I really want to see this thing in a full, you know, 75 to 150 frames a second like it should be on at least on my rig. And but when you have the network code bottlenecking everything down, you just, I don't know, it just takes something away from everything. But overall, here's the backside. This is what I kind of wanted to see, if this was something that you could actually fly up to, and you could request to dock, and the door would open and you could go in. Now, the doors wouldn't open, and it wasn't giving me any indication that landing was going to be authorized here. So what I'm thinking is that if you summon a ship, that it's very possible that the landing's on the top on the normal pads, and if you're leaving or you're summoning a ship, that they're going to be coming out of these as of right now. Or, of course, it's also very possible that these just aren't activated at all yet, because there was a few things I noticed in Grim Hex that weren't fully set up yet, or at least accessible. Visible walls and whatnot, and you'll see that coming up in the video itself.
Request to land approved.
Now, I did have some difficulties with the new landing system. The first time I tried to do the automated landing, it kind of parked my ship at a 45-degree angle upwards and said I was landed, but I wasn't even on the ground. The second time here, it worked out just fine. And the effect they use in the pads is fairly subtle, just the outline around the edges. It's not that big blue or red box we saw in the preview, and I think that's much better. And what I'm going to do here is, when we get into the station, is I'm going to only make limited commentary on anything that comes up, and I'm going to turn the sound up on the video so you can hear the sounds in Grim Hex, because I think there's something you should hear. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and kind of just cut the commentary here and let you enjoy it, and I'll jump back in where I feel appropriate.
Pressurization.
Alright, right here for some reason there's an invisible wall, so you can't go into that area yet. I'm not sure why. There's some nice nooks and crannies here to hide in. Of course, this is the area the weapons are enabled. Now, unfortunately, in a few seconds, the game just gives the 30,000 error, and I think the whole server goes down. Frame rates were really starting to chug right about here. So once again, netcode issues. But didn't have much more time to do filming and rendering than this, and still go to work tonight. So I hope this you found this enjoyable, and I'll update as much as I can. Thanks for watching. This week on the Blastcast, we talk about the Idris damage model, and we also go into personal ship selections. Which ship would you choose if you only had one in the persistent universe? This week on the Blastcast.